Hi friends, it's Heidi Stevens here. Welcome to Drop Into the Vortex, where conversations about up-leveling your frequency, reaching your next level, feeling alive, and manifesting with more ease are happening. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I am a spiritual teacher and leader, and I am here juggling all the hats right along with you, creating our next level life and showing you how to do it on the way. Welcome, let's go. Hey, IGT Live, all my Instagram fam, how are you doing? Oh, it's good to be here with you. I have been very quiet on here, and it has felt really good. It's felt really good to get really quiet, and I have been noticing the times all throughout the day where my mind wants to tell me, you should get on, you should post. You haven't posted in 3 days. You haven't posted in 6 days. You gotta have an Insta story up all the time. And I've really been catching that and questioning that and asking myself, is that really true? And is that really in alignment? And when I take that pause, I have noticed, actually, that's my shoulda, coulda, woulda voice, right? That's my you're not doing enough voice. That's my you got to keep up. And if you don't do this, you're going to fall behind voice. And so I have been honoring my inner voice. I have been honoring my inner truth and pausing and asking what is truly in alignment. And for the past several days, almost a week now, what's been so truly in alignment is being in the present moment in my life, and allowing myself to get out of the rat race of the do, hustle. So I am up here on our ranch property today. We're moving in a couple of weeks, but I've just been getting things ready and doing a bunch of stuff. Look at this. You guys are gonna see a lot of me in this spot with these yellow flowers. There's a really beautiful view behind me here. Come on, if that's not expansiveness, I don't know what is. So, I have a little story. For us here. And I'm excited to share with you the story. I had the most wild thing happen to me yesterday. And it was one of those things that was so out there that at one point, I just started laughing and thought to myself, this can only be God. This can only be God, because this is so wacky. It was so my mind, if you ever had that experience where it's something is happening and your mind almost is kind of fuzzy, you're like, is this really happening right now? Is this actually happening? Okay, so here's what happened. One of my girlfriends down here, I have not gotten a facial since I've come to San Diego. One of my girlfriends says, I've got a great woman. She lives in this little back house in Del Mar. You got to go see her. I'm like, okay, great. So, and that's all she said. You're going to love this. She's wonderful. And she also said, and I think she's kind of like a healer or something. And I was like, okay. So, make an appointment with her. It's yesterday, midday. I go to the property. And for any of you that know Del Mar, you know that it's a very beachy town. The properties are small, the lots are small, everything is it's a beach town. And so I drive into this driveway, and it's this humongous property. It's this huge property right next to the beach. And I drive in and I'm like, what is this property? Because it looks a bit run down, and it's this kind of gravel, rocky, really big driveway, and there's parking everywhere. I promise you there's a point to all of this. And so it's not clear, and she didn't tell me when I signed up for the appointment where to park. She didn't tell me kind of where to go. There's several different kind of little, almost like huts. Like they look like little huts. And so I just kind of drive in and I like park somewhere, and there's several cars there. And I text her and I say, I'm here and I don't know where I'm going. And so I get out of my car and I see a woman, and she starts walking down. And she kind of like, it's like, where did you park? Where did you park? And I'm like, right here. And she's like, no, where did you park? Where did you park? And I'm like, right there. And I think that she can see it, but she can't. So she walks out a little bit further and she goes, no, don't park there. Don't park there. And she's like, kind of like, my experience of it was that she was kind of scolding me, like, don't park there. And a little aggressive. And I'm like, okay. Like, and I got an attitude. I was triggered. Okay. I got triggered. I'm like, okay, you didn't tell me where to park. Where do you want me to park? So I push back. I'm like, what is this? So she tells me where to park. And then she also, like, I don't know where she's going. So she just kind of walked up this path, and I didn't quite see, but I just kind of, go up the path. So by now, I'm a bit frazzled. Okay? Like, I'm like, where the hell am I? Like, what is this place? I feel like I'm in this kind of like shack situation, and I'm in the middle of Del Mar. It was really like not congruent for what I was expecting. I had this like thought/expectation in mind of kind of what I was walking into, given what my friend had told me. She told me, you're going to be in this back house. She's a healer, right? Like, I had all this like warm and fuzzy vibes that I was expecting in this kind of beautiful Del Mar house, and this back house that someone lived in or rented or whatever. And she was going to come out and like give me this incredible facial. So I walk into this space, and it's sweet, it's nice. And she kind of is like, okay, so like, what do you want? I'm like, well, I'm here to get a facial. And I'm still very triggered. Like, I'm defensive now. I've got my walls up. And she says, well, what kind of facial would you like? And I'm like, I don't know. It's been like, it's a pandemic. Like, it's been 18 months since I've gotten a facial. It's not that long, but it's been a while. I said, I don't know. I need extractions. Like, I take pretty good care of my skin, but I really need some help. So she kind of says, okay, like, here's the mock. Go ahead and go in the bathroom. Take off. You got a lot of jewelry on. Like, take off all your jewelry. Like, come back. And I can feel that there's like a presence about her, and that there's something special about her. And yet I'm reeling at this point, right? Like, I'm like, what the F am I doing here? So I go in the bathroom and I put my smock on and I go out and I say something like, well, my friend so-and-so, her name, she says that you're lovely and that you give really good facials. And she says, oh, okay, thank you. What else did she say? I said, she actually said that you were a bit of a healer. And she goes, oh, are you needing that? And I go, well, I kind of do that kind of work in the world. And there was something inside that was just like, I can't go on like this. Like, I can't go on. And I said to her, there's just something really, really, really off here. And I'm not vibing this. I don't know what you're feeling right now, but this is not good energy. And she goes, yeah, I agree. She goes, you seem really upset. And I said, I am. And she goes, well, basically, I don't know what the exact word she says, but basically she said that kind of like, that's your problem. And I say, you're right. My upsetness is my problem. And I said, and that felt really abrasive. Like, that didn't feel good. And she goes, well, I've made an agreement with myself to stop being nice. So I start to, and so then we kind of got in this back and forth a little bit. She's like, well, like, that was like ridiculous parking. And I said, you didn't tell me where to park. And so we did this like tit for tat, like basically defending our stance. And then finally I just start laughing. I'm like, this is actually like insane. Like, this is crazy what's happening right now. Like, we're fighting over a parking spot. Like, we're fighting over where I parked. And I just let myself laugh. Like, I'm laughing right now. And she goes, well, I'm glad that you're finding this so funny. I don't think it's that funny. She goes, I'm not seeing your laughter. I'm not feeling that laughter, but that's great that you're finding it entertaining. And I said, you know what? There is something really here for both of us. There's really something here for both of us. And I felt my guard go down, and I felt myself drop in, and I felt my heart open, and I felt myself look at this woman in front of me and go, she gets to have her experience right now, and I get to have mine. And is there an opportunity for us to find some common ground, an equilibrium? I wasn't quite saying this at the time, but like the energetic that I was breathing into is there a miracle here? And I said, this has nothing to do with the parking spot. And she said, you're so right. Would you like to sit down for some tea? And I said, yeah, that would feel good. And when I sat down for the tea, she had a little couch there. I kind of, I sat with my legs crossed, and I was still very kind of like a little guarded. And she went into her kitchen, and she starts boiling the water, and she says to me, you're really something. And I thought to myself, I am really something. And I just kind of giggled a little bit. And so she came down and she made some tea for herself, and we cheersed our tea, and we just started sharing. We started talking. We started opening up and sharing truths to each other. And I'm not going to share her truths, not that I'm putting her name here, but she shared with me some really, really beautiful things about where she's from. She's not from America. She shared with me how she's been on a bit of a sabbatical and going on a real solitude journey of going inward. She shared with me some real beautiful awarenesses around how we women think that we need to be really, really, really nice and friendly in order to win the approval of another's. She shared with me how she has made an agreement with herself that she's just going to be herself, and that sometimes that's a little harsh, or sometimes it's misunderstood, or sometimes people think that she's out there or wacky or XYZ. Yeah, she's part Israeli, which I'm very, very, very familiar with Israelis, and have a lot of Israeli friends in Los Angeles. And there is that kind of harsh like voice and aggressiveness sometimes when they speak, and then there's just such a softness inside. I believe she's also part Russian, so which is definitely has that vibration. And someone asked what continent or where is she from, and so we just started sharing with each other, and I shared what I shared for myself was that, and this is that I had an expectation, and so there was part of me that just could so appreciate who she was and her kind of fierceness. I have that fierceness, right? It comes out in a different way. We had the most lovely tea together, and we both were softening, and we were both kind of like checking each other out. And now it's been an hour. It's been an hour of me being there. Like, my facial should have been done. And so I look at the clock and I'm like, I don't know if I can stay because my nanny needed to go home and whatnot. And I called my nanny and she's like, no, I can stay for another hour. So I said, hey, let's, can I get on the table? Like, can we do this? And she's like, yes, of course. And so I get on the table, and the lessons and the miracles and the connection and the heart connection and the conversation, it kept going and it kept deepening, and we both kept softening. We both kept sharing how we were perceiving each other. And she shared with me, I felt you really defensive, and I could hear it. And I had this very clear reflection. I might cry sharing this. That often, maybe some of you have felt this, I don't know. I had this beautiful revelation that oftentimes, sometimes, when I don't know what I'm walking into, when there's a new person, a new situation, a new environment, that I don't know if it's a situation that I perceive as safe before I walk in. Meaning, I don't know who the person is. I don't have full context. I don't know exactly where I'm going. I don't know what to expect, right? I don't have the setup. I don't know if I'm going to quote unquote feel safe in that environment. I put up a guard. I withhold my heart. I withhold my openness in fear that I may get rejected, in fear that I may be judged, in fear that, right, it may not be my openness, my bigness, my love may not be received. But what that does is we're always mirrored what's going on inside of us. And so I can think of so many times that I've walked in and felt this kind of abrasiveness or somewhat of a harshness. And I also then kind of put that up. And those are really missed moments and missed opportunities and missed connections. And so the reflection and the lesson and the miracle for me was if I choose to be fully, and this is something that I don't know that many of us really get to. This is a level of consciousness that it's big. This is big. That when we fully accept who we are, those aren't just words. Hear them. Fully accept our truest selves. We are safe because we are. It's not the environment. It's not the person. It's not the mirror. It's not the expectation that goes awry. It's we get to be fully ourselves with no consequence, right? With no concern, with no worry about what are we going to be mirrored, or are we going to be accepted? Are we going to be shown that we're enough? That is gold. That is gold, my loves. And then in the sharing, I got to also share, hey, if I may, this is how yes, I'm American. Yes, I'm blonde hair, blue-eyed. Yes, there's a bit of frou-frou about me. And if I may, this could be a physical world reality setup that you could offer a new client. You could let someone know this is where to park, this is what to do. Perhaps that masculine foundation could then set you and your clients up for a more feminine connection and softness right off the bat. And she got to say, yeah, you know what? there is perhaps an opportunity for me to be a little bit more soft, to be more anchored in my feminine when I am in my work. The miracles kept coming as we were sitting there on the couch. Literally out of nowhere, she says, "Hey, do you know this girl, Ciara? I just did a retreat with her, da-da-da-da-da. She just brought her." Then she says, out of, like, this girl, Ciara, and I know each other, and we've connected on Instagram, and she used to be living in San Diego. Then she says, "Hey, do you know this woman, Allison Bird?" I'm like, shut up. Like Allison and I, she's down here in San Diego. We've recently really connected and are spending really, really beautiful time together. I'm like, like this is not possible that these two humans, Ciara, Allison, I've been connecting with recently, such soulful, beautiful, bright, bright, bright beings on planet Earth doing their work in the world. God, like, I can't make this stuff up. Like, the synchronicities, the connection points. I'm sitting there and I look at her and I go, mark my words, we're gonna be really good friends. She texted me this morning saying, "I'm thinking of you." I just can't get over, like, how, like, unique this connection was, and what a miracle it was that I spoke my truth. And what bravery and courage it took for me to not get on that table and for me to speak instead and for me to share and for us to both soften. And I don't know what Spirit has in store for the two of us. It's like Spirit wanted us to meet. I think that if I would have walked in and just kind of, hi, how you doing? I laid down, I had a normal facial. I would have felt her energy. She would have felt mine, but there would be a little bit of, like, wondering about one another, wondering about where each other stood on things. We would have maybe played nice. And I am so grateful. That she stood in her, I'm not going to play nice anymore. I am not going to play nice. I'm going to be myself. You know, Marianne Williamson says this in her book, Return to Love, and it comes from the Course in Miracles. A miracle is a change in perception. And I had a complete 180 change of perception yesterday. And I allowed for more love and more connection and more awarenesses to come into my life. I want that for every single one of us, every single day, all throughout our days. There are miracles everywhere. I would love, can you just wait 1 minute? 1 minute. Okay. So I'm going to go talk to my pool guy. This is me coming back down, getting grounded into planet Earth, right? Doing the things. And how beautiful to sift, right? From the spirit and the connection and the open-hearted and this light that's just shining on me. You guys are going to see me here so much, doing lives, doing work, maybe doing our Zoom calls from here. I'll figure out the lighting in perfect timing. And may miracles just be anointed to you, for you, with you, all throughout your day. All right, ladies, I love you. And men, whoever watched this, have a beautiful one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.